Okay, we're gonna try this. Sorry, I just went through and like did this whole thing on my phone, and the file was too big to drag and drop. So, um, I apologize if the camera's shaky or if I'm extremely awkward in this. Um, I wrote you a letter, and I'm going to attempt to read it on webcam. So, sorry if it's weird. Sorry if I say sorry too much. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. Okay, dear expectant mama, I I don't have a clue how to begin to talk to you, but I hope that you see this and that you get a chance to read it. And if nothing else, maybe you'll get a laugh. We are Brittany and Jesse. Jesse's not here right now. He's actually going to get tacos. Um, we live in North Carolina and we're trying to build a family in the wild, crazy, hot mess express that we call life. We are licensed foster parents, and we are hoping to one day adopt either through the Department of Social Services or through private adoption. We thought that going through the foster care system was going to be easy, and no, 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 girl. It's been a wild ride. It's seriously been off road tires, winch in the front and in the back, rock crawler over a cliff, crazy kind of a ride. We've had 7 kids so far this year between the ages of 9 months and 11 years old, and it's been nuts. Some stayed for a while, and some were really fast. I mean, a couple days. Um, excuse me. This whole crash course in learning how to parent infants and toddlers and a sassy teenager all at once, it's been crazy and overwhelming in and of itself. But then you add in all the foster care side of it, all of the home visits with the social workers and the caseworkers and the guardian ad litem and parent visits and failed parent visits when they don't show up, and court dates and doctor's appointments and the mountains of paperwork for each kid that you have to redo for every child. Reunification, disappointments, emotional meltdowns, us and the kids. I don't know how we ever thought this thing was going to be easy. Um, we had no clue what we were getting ourselves into. But despite all of that, um, we've really had the best time of our lives getting to be parents, even if it's only been temporary so far. And the goal in fostering is reunification. Like we've had 7 success stories because they've all gone back home to family members. But you can't you can't help it breaking your heart because you get attached and you want them to stay, and your mind creates this fantasy of what the world looks like if they stayed with you, and if you continue to progress and they were your babies forever. But the reality is, unless the worst case scenario happens and they don't get to go home, they're not your babies. They're someone else's, and your role is to be an influence for good and to try to help them get home. So it's hard. It's definitely the hardest thing we've ever done. But every foster kid, every foster baby that we have had come through our home that we've had to say goodbye to, we know is preparing us and helping us be stronger, and is getting us closer and closer to the kids that one day we will be dying to kick out of the house when they turn 30 and they're still living at home. That really, I've seen so many posts from these other amazing and incredible families all over the internet showing exotic places that they've traveled and their big giant houses and all these wonderful things about them, their pets, their hobbies, everything just pure, raw, vulnerable. Pick us. Like, these people look amazing. And I have no idea how we're ever going to be able to compete, or how anyone in your position can ever even begin to sort through your options and narrow down your choices. Like, we too, we've done the same thing. We've posted ourselves all over the internet, on Facebook, Instagram, Peartree, a bunch of different adoption matching sites. We've got our agency that we work with. We've got a couple other, I've gone as far, I've like called women's centers all over the state, even in like my college towns, just trying to get our name and our number out there. I know I don't really look like it, but I'm Native American. I've called our tribe. Well, hello there. You scary ghost cat freaking me out. Sorry. I've called our tribe even. Because if you're not familiar with it, there's something called the Indian Child Welfare Act. It's a whole big thing, but basically, Indian kids, they try to place with tribal families. So, I've even reached out as far as like South Dakota, trying to get us out there, just to try to find a match somewhere. We've put on display the pretty photos and all the best parts of our lives, trying to get your attention in the hopes that you'll reach out and contact us and start the conversation and see where it goes, and maybe it turn into something. But honestly, I'm starting to think that that's not the best tactic for us, because for Jesse and I, we've never had much success trying to do things the traditional way. Maybe we're just gluttons for punishment. I don't know, but our lives are not perfect, and we are actively, lazily, crazily stumbling through trying to be good people and put the right shoe on the right foot every day and figure out this whole crazy, hard adulting thing just like everyone else. We sometimes pile laundry in the chair or on a dresser, and it sits there for weeks. It happens. And we run ourselves ragged, overscheduling and trying to squeeze in 2 a.m. cake frostings for the last minute birthday party for the 10-year-old that we decided to have the day before. We clean the house before the cleaning lady arrives because we don't want her to think that we're total pigs. Like, that's us. We feed farm animals in our pajamas and underwear, and honestly, I don't wear a whole lot of makeup. I like to, but between getting up and either taking care of kids or animals or everything else, what's the point when you're going to smell like a dairy goat by the end of the day? We have 4 dogs, 2 beagles, a black and tan coonhound, and a Great Pyrenees. They have the collective intelligence of a potato. Love them, but they're special. I'm like the tiny red kind. And our families are so big on either side that we've honestly lost track who's a first or second cousin. We have a 7-foot fake taxidermy shark on the wall from a very bad drunk decision on a honeymoon fishing trip, and now the big fake shark gets dressed up for every occasion. Santa hat's on it right now. I think there was a Dollar Tree skeleton hanging out of its mouth for Halloween. What normal family doesn't have a holiday shark in their living room? Come on. Jesse and I are really outdoorsy. I hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2014 with one of those dumb dogs. His name is Scout the Adventure Beagle. Now he is old and fat with a big white face, and it breaks my heart. As much as we love anything to do with the outside, we hate everything about wintertime because, again, we have livestock and they get fed no matter what temperature it is. And if it's freezing cold and the water troughs ice over, we got to get out there. It's got to happen. I'm a graduate student. I graduated undergrad from Virginia Tech, and now I'm at Strayer University because it's all like online remote. I'm getting my MBA in it's Master's of Business Administration. It's a mouthful to say. Jesse and I both work full-time professional jobs, but we also laugh a little too hard at the fainting goats, and I'm pretty sure that we've seen every episode of Family Guy. And did you know that Amazon Alexa, she has an app just for farts, like fart sounds, squishy, loud, animal. You can even set a timer. Yeah, we do clean up nice if you ever actually catch us cleaning up, which might be Christmas. And Jesse's got the personality type where he goes along with like everything. He actually is the baby fever pusher. Probably for the last 8 years, he's been seriously pushing, wanting to start a family. I, on the other hand, took a very long time to come to grips with this whole idea of being somebody's mother. I didn't think I had any natural instinct. I didn't know what I was doing. All my sisters are close enough in age to me that I didn't really grow up taking care of babies. So it was a foreign concept, and I was doing everything I could to push it off. But now that we've had some kids come through the house, and I don't panic every time they fall and start crying, and I've learned how to deal with different situations and scenarios, I feel so much more comfortable about it, and I'm pushing it probably more than he is at this point. I mean, you'd think this was my idea now because I love it, and I love snuggles and being referred to as mom, even if it's foster mom. Yeah, so we're giving it a shot. Jesse and I love cooking and experimenting and trying new things, but we also have been known to throw a frozen pizza in the oven and call it a cereal night, or call it a cereal night. We live in our house just outside of the National Forest on a farm that's just under 50 acres total. We've got a guest house, a creek, a stockfish pond. We're right next to the National Forest. There's a bunch of lakes and rivers all around us that we go kayaking in all the time. There's caves, waterfalls. This place is like outdoor haven. In the summertime, it is like a big summer touristy camping hotspot. So it's a really cool place. We just logged most of our property, so we've got lots of fields in various stages of being cleared and planted for pasture and fencing. We have several very fat, out of shape horses. They are mostly just trail ponies. I got the bright idea about 2 years ago that I was going to get into barrel racing and try to make them into barrel ponies. But between COVID and kids and just back surgery and everything else that we have going on, honestly, they're all fat and out of shape right now. And the ponies, like our mini horses, they're even fatter. We have a small herd of our Nigerian dwarf and our fainting goats, the myotonic Tennessee fainting goats. One of those goats we don't really consider a goat because she was a bottle baby, so she's all up in your business and she prefers to hang out with the dogs. Her name is Folly, and she falls. And then we have Little Pig, who's our micro potbelly pig, who's 7 years old now. They don't stay micro. And then we have a steer named Kevin that has so far failed his lifelong destiny of becoming freezer meat because we kind of actually like him. So we have Kevin, little Holstein steer, and then just today, Jesse brought home 2 miniature Herefords, which if you don't know what those are, they are miniature cows. The bull is 32 inches tall, so he's probably, think like large dog size. That's basically how big these cows are. And they're pets. They're cute. We just got them today, so we're really excited about them. But yeah, our crazy, weird hobby farm life, our hay bill is bigger than our grocery bill, and that's the way we like it. Okay. I'm saying way too much. Ugh, don't judge me. You know how they say that doctors make terrible patients? Mechanics are horrible at fixing their own stuff. Between the carport and the garage and the other garage, there were always at least 2 major and several minor projects in various stages of disassembly and disrepair that Jesse has just either not had time to fix or he's waiting on parts for, whatever the situation is. I'm the crafty one. I took over one of our garages with little stations for like epoxy resin tumblers, the sewing machine, t-shirt making, that kind of stuff. Any kind of do-it-yourself crafts, goat milk soap making. I started an Etsy store. Just basically, it was like it started off as like hey, I need a tax write-off for all these trees we're cutting, and then it turned into like, oh, I actually really like this. Like lotions, candles, all that kind of stuff. I love crafting. Pinterest is my jam. Whoa, children, sassy kitties over there. Sorry. I live off of copious amounts of coffee. My Keurig is my best friend, and it's all decked out with stickers and stuff. And Jesse and I both thrive in stressful situations for some reason. I don't think we would know what to do with ourselves if we were ever just given a day to do nothing. We get like anxious, I think. Okay, so that's a little bit about us. Now let's get kind of serious for a minute. If things work out and this turns into something more than just like a silly hello and a glance into our crazy, this is what you can expect. Jesse and I are foster parents, and unless we just happen to get 3 kids at once, we plan to continue to foster until we're able to adopt 3 kids. With the foster care system, even if you get them day 1 infant straight out of the hospital, all foster kids have to know that they're adopted. They have to know their life story and where they come from. We can't keep it from them. So why should any other kid in our house live that way? We don't plan on keeping it a secret that our kids are adopted. I mean, hell, we might get kids that are a completely different skin color than us. And it's kind of hard to like fake that. It's not worth the down the road trauma of I'm adopted, or like figuring it out when you're like tragically needing a kidney in a hospital or something. And that's the kind of luck that like we have if we ever tried to like mislead kids, is we would be like that parent in the hospital and our charming child is, give her one of mine, and oh, you're not a match. Like, sorry. Brain's going to all kinds of crazy scenarios, but that's our luck. Like we couldn't ever pull it off anyway because we can't lie. But really, as far as them just growing up and knowing that they're adopted and knowing their background, I don't see any downside to having more people, more parents or siblings or aunts and uncles, grandparents, whatever, whoever is out there. There's no downside to having more people that love you, whatever that looks like, whether it's just out there, good vibes, like I'm wishing you all the best, or I stalk you on Facebook, or I send Christmas cards, or we Skype all the time, or whatever that happens to look like. There's no downside to that. Families come in all shapes and all sizes and all colors, and there's no I don't know what the right word is. This is new. There's no set way that this has to happen. It's whatever makes sense. To give you just like an idea of kind of how like we are, at my wedding during the daddy-daughter dance, my real dad, handed me off halfway through his daddy-daughter dance to my stepdad. And then while I was with my stepdad, my dad picked up his guitar and started playing the rest of the song while his biological daughter danced with another man. That is the kind of family that we are. Our kids are going to have 3 sets of grandparents on my side of the family. Like, not including anyone on your side. Do you want to just keep it to letters and maybe a birthday present or a Christmas card? Okay. Whatever floats your goat. you want to come down and stay a weekend and help shovel horse poop at the rodeo when the 4-year-old's trying to be lead line carried around the barrels? Excuse me. Let's do it. God, no, I can't talk. Do you have other babies that you want to grow up knowing who their siblings are? We can have a play date. We can Skype. Families come in all sorts. So I guess the only real question is for you, Mama, is are you interested in being a part of ours? Now, I promise you, this kid's going to have an interesting life. They're going to help with hay season. They're going to fall and scrape their knees, and they're going to play in the creeks and probably get covered in pond slime. They're going to lick salt blocks, and realistically, they're probably going to eat dirt. They are going to learn to drive and back trailers on the farm long before they can ever actually legally get their driver's licenses, and they too are going to laugh at Amazon Alexa's fart jokes. They'll kayak on the rivers with us and explore the many caves and waterfalls around our town. They will angrily be forced to write thank you notes for their presents and turn out to be pretty decent writers, just like I did with my mom. They're going to sneak the dogs in their bed, and they're going to throw massive temper tantrums in Hobby Lobby that's going to make every head in the store turn to look. And they're going to throw their rice and beans all over the table and the floor when we go to the Mexican restaurant, just like every other toddler. They are going to fight us the entire time that we try to take Christmas card pictures, and we'll give up and get frustrated and pick the one that seems to be the least offensive out of all of them and send that out to our friends and family. I imagine that our daycare director is going to call us a lot because we already get called a lot for foster kids getting into situations. But, we'll make up for it because we're going to bring in the best goodies for the class parties and the coolest costumes for Spirit Week. I mean, I told you I have a whole garage just for crafting. You think I can't make some cool costumes? Now, you're probably watching this or reading this or whatever, however you're getting this message and going, oh my gosh, why did they let these people become foster parents? But hopefully, though, you're also kind of wishing that we could adopt you too. And the thing is, if you trust us and you put your faith in us and you stick it all out on the line and try to do this and share this parenting thing with us, whatever that happens to look like, you would be a part of it. This lifestyle is not for everyone, and that's okay. After all, the billy goat pees on himself and he smells terrible. And this is a physical, sweaty, often ugly road, this whole hobby farm, crazy outdoor person lifestyle. But it's the most fulfilling and exciting way of life that Jesse and I could have ever asked for. And honestly, this would be such a cool place for a kid to grow up in. We are looking for an open adoption, but really how far that goes really just depends on you, whatever you're comfortable with. This isn't a stick 'em up, head up with the baby kind of a thing. Sorry. It's a choice on the people that you want to spend the rest of your life knowing and tied to forever because of this beautiful little always sticky, screaming in the grocery store, shoes on the wrong feet, just ate a dog treat, green poop coming out of the backside of the diaper now on your fingers, tangled up their fishing pole for the millionth time, came in to snuggle after a bad dream, and then peed the bed, Paw Patrol t-shirt with spilled ice cream, little ball of chaos and perfection. And I don't know. If you are seriously thinking about going the adoption route, and if you are not completely turned off by this message and think that you might just like our kind of crazy, let's start a conversation. You can call us, you can text us, Facebook us, you can call my mama if you want to. She's in Virginia, but I mean, she's the future grandma, and she's the person I always went to. My friends always went to when we got into scrapes. You can call our agency caseworker. You can call the attorney that we plan to use. They're based out of Raleigh. I mean, they're not far. Talk to anyone you want if you want to get opinions of us. But just don't be afraid to reach out and start that conversation, because this is scary. I can't imagine being in your situation. But we're terrified. So how can you be anything but terrified? Whatever this turns into, whatever decision you make, this is big. And I realize that. And I realize that if you pick us to raise your child, you've got to be okay with that decision. You've got to make peace with it for the rest of your life. And I want to show you and do everything I can to show you that this is okay, and that your baby will be okay. There's no protocol or step-by-step instruction on how this works. This is brand new to us. But we're serious, and we're upfront, and we're honest about it and what our intentions are. And we just hope that you will be our match. So I don't really know how to end this. And I have been ad-libbing here for probably the last 5 minutes, because there's nothing left on my little screen of my letter that I wrote you. So yeah, if you want to start a conversation, then give me a call or message or whatever works best for you. Thank you for listening, and good luck, whatever you decide to do. Bye.